Welcome back, everybody. It's good to be here, and y'all are so kind with your comments. I enjoy reading them in the evenings, and hopefully I get to respond some. Well, obviously I'm showing you some of the flowers that from the garden, from the flower farm, just beginning to start producing. So let's come over here. Today we're going to talk about Zulema pastinus. And I want to say before we get into it that she is obviously a real person, and my goal is not to defame her in any shape or form. I just want to share the information that I have, and I have questions, so I would actually love to talk to her if possible. And this video will start with her past, which is limited information, but we'll go over that. And then let's talk about the interrogation with law enforcement and what she revealed as one of the early witnesses in the Lori Vallow-Daybell trial. I'm counting on my fingers here. And then finally, let's talk about how we feel about an indictment coming down for her. So let's get into it. There's my speech issue. Thank you for your kindness. So her history is bare. We don't know very much. There's very little out there. But we do know during the time of her participation in this Lori Vallow-Daybell cult, which I'm not sure if that's the term that I should use, but it is the way I view it. So she was a practitioner for energy healing. So when I read practitioner, I'm just wanting to find out, is there some kind of certification for a non-science approach to being a life coach, is what one thing that is said. And then the other, it's been said on the internet, there I did a spit again, I'm sorry, that she was also a professional cuddler. That brings a lot of different things in mind, but the video is not to go there. But she has at least 2 children that I could find, some kind of adult age. And one, you'll know if you listen to the 911 call when Alex Cox died, that it was her son, and he seemed to not know that they had gotten married. But that was quick. It doesn't shock me. So the daughter, Cara, I believe she spells it C-A-R-A, said that she was moving out. Let me get that straight. I'm so distracted. That she moved out about the time that Alex was moving into her mother's home. That's Zulema pastinus. And her comment was she was tired of strange men in and out. So take that for what it's worth. And she's been married multiple times. I'm under the impression, but I don't have this as fact, that Alex Cox was her 6th marriage. But you can't quote me on this, because that's just what I've heard, and every time I try to search down the source, I really don't get anywhere. So that's what I'll say about that. Okay, in the trial, in her investigation, interrogation with law enforcement, I have so many questions. There were answers to questions that they ask that were vague. I got the sense that she was just scooting around that question with a lot of, I don't recall, it's so fuzzy. But then there were other parts that she explained the details of their wedding night. And if you don't know, they got married December 1st. I believe they began dating the second week of November at the request of Chad Daybell. He explained to them that they have to be married to continue this mission and to bring in the 144,000. And so she agreed. But, so they got married December 1st. And she explained after their marriage, which was in Las Vegas, Alex wanted to go to, I thought I understood, like a Walmart or some bigger type of super center, and walked around and said that he needed and it was talked about a tarp, but most of the true information that I could find was like a drop cloth for painting. And since he had been a massage therapist, he was planning to give her a massage on her wedding night. But he was kind of telling her, with the oil and all, let's not get it on the mattress. So she says she felt that was kind of odd, but the way he explained it, she went along with it. So then she tells about, I'm distracted because of my neighbor's little, it's a cute dog, Rosie. She's kind of a low rider, a little wiener dog. So she said that, I'm not sure if she worded it like she felt like she had been drugged, but the way she described it was, she was very groggy and she was hearing things, but she had trouble waking herself up. So she was sure she had heard him, Alex Cox, in the bathroom talking on the phone to several different people. And once she was able to become alert, she asked him, who are you talking to? And he claimed quickly he wasn't. So, of course, that's odd. And then there was some other discussions that were concerning for her. But my point on this is, she took the time to explain details, and she went over it again, and it was in the trial, about that experience. And then when she was asked very pointed questions about the text messages during the time Charles was killed, prior to that, and also after that with Lori and Chad, and her assignment, she understood, was to go to the temple the day that happened. And I'm confused about what exactly happens in there. Apparently it's very secretive. So that happened with Charles, and then again it happened when Tammy Daybell was shot at. And she explained about this grading system of deciding people were possessed with evil spirits and demons. So she talked about that, and she said that she was told that Charles had, and his spirit was gone, and he was inhabited by several different, and I won't go into each demon. I'm sure if you're watching this, you probably already know. If not, you can find it all over the internet. So there, I'm almost wanting to call it a seance, but the ladies would meet, and there were a lot of questions about it. And then you get to the point that she says it was in her home. So she was definitely heavily involved. And she said the main part, which I think we are already suspected, that Chad did a lot of telling her that she was so special, that she has a great mission, and just kind of pouring on the love and confirmation, and that she's probably somewhat embarrassed about, that she fell for a great deal of this attention and love. It was not just from Chad, it was also from Lori. And I believe she even said she had met with Chad alone. Oh, it was at his a book signing with Preparing the People. He had kind of called her over for a private talk. And then Lori appeared very quickly and seemed, I believe I don't know if she used the word jealous, but very concerned that the two of them were talking without somebody else present. So Zulema gave us a lot of information about what kinds of strange beliefs this group had been moving into. And well, you probably know, she finally kind of put her foot down when Chad and Lori were really trying to get Zulema and her husband, Alex Cox, to move to Rexburg, Idaho. Wow, that's okay. Thank you for your forgiveness. From Gilbert, Arizona. So she, let them know she needed to think about that and spent some time. And so she asked some questions, and one was, how am I going to earn money? I can't just move somewhere and not have a job. And the interesting reply that she received was, once she moved there and they set up these huge white tents for a white tent city in their, I call it compound, but in their effort to protect their community from these doomsday destruction kind of beliefs. She steadfast. She was steadfast. And I wonder if that's when they wanted to begin thinking of ways to get rid of Zulema as the drop cloth tarp thing. It wouldn't be easy at a hotel to wrap up a body with all of the cameras and remove her. So I also think that was part of the reason that Alex was done. He had already received a intense blessing that he was all in with this group, believed everything. And Chad gave him, and we have that on recording, lengthy blessing about how wonderful he is, and God called him, and his job at this probation, told him about his past probations, which, if you don't know, they believe that they have many lives, and they don't call it reincarnation, but there's quite an odd belief. And he fell for it. He was all in. So that's where I think, as they were about to, the day before, they were exhuming Tammy's body. Then Alex died in the bathroom, and it's a very odd situation. It was deemed, as you probably already know, natural causes, but I am not. I just don't believe that. And since he was quickly cremated, we're left without proof. So, my last part is, do you think she's going to be indicted? I was told many times that she was given like a partial immunity, and I couldn't find that. That apparently that's under seal. So, and the prosecutors did absolutely need her testimony to help paint this picture of where we're going and what was happening on the inside. They needed her testimony, and they needed Melanie Gibbs' testimony. Of course, we didn't get to hear from Melanie Pawlowski, and I feel very strongly that Melanie will be indicted, basically for her part in her ex-husband custody battle over Brandon Boudreaux. And Pawlowski, she had just married Ian Pawlowski. So that's another very odd situation. And Melanie is Lori's niece, that she grew up basically without a mom. I think we've gotten into that story on other videos, so I won't go into that. But looked at Lori as a mother figure. And if you watch her interviews, interrogations with the police, you will see that she is firmly committed to Lori and talks about how wonderful Lori is. So she's, it may still be definitely all in. The shocking part with Melanie Pawlowski is that, from my understanding, 2 of her 4 children were deemed as dark. And we know what happens when the group decides that someone's been possessed by an evil spirit. And then later, I believe it was last night, it was said that 3 of her 4 children were labeled in their small group as having dark spirits. I find that very shocking. And so that's where I'm wrapping up with Zulema Pastenas. Oh, I need to add this. It was kind of odd after they were married. Alex Cox took the name of Zulema, so became Alex Pastenas. Of course, he only lived about 3 weeks-ish. Let's see, December 1st is when they were married, and it was toward the end of December that he died. So, thank you for joining me on this journey. It's so exciting to read your comments, and I do take the time to really think through your position, and I'm 100% in agreeing to disagree. So tell me any thoughts that you have that you would like to. And I do take the time to deeply consider those, because those are valid, interesting thoughts that you have from this entire experience. So I'm looking forward to our next one, and thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. It's so kind of you. And I want to hear, do you think that she will be indicted on the additional charges they found from the technical or text message data that was gleaned that contradicts so much of her story? Or do you think they're just going to let that go, that she was embarrassed, slid into this cult, and participated, cooperated, and stood as a witness in the trial, so that maybe law enforcement are just gonna let that be where it is? But yeah, let me know. I don't really want to tell you exactly where I stand on that. I'm still very open. Thank you. Did that turn off? Yeah.